Hello and welcome to another one of my Star Wars vehicle builds. In the last one, I built up Anakin's Podracer, but now I'm going to build up the counterpart to that. The obvious Sebulba's Podracer is next. So I have the beginnings of the first engine here. Not sure if I'm happy with these iron bars. There is like a metal bar that goes along it. I'll see if I can find something else. But we're just using these slabs to create this angle coming down whilst keeping it quite tight on the tops rather than being full blocks. This one in here is just the chiseled red sandstone, and these are, by the way, the red sandstone as well. I used the smooth variant. We've got some of the acacia trap doors, although I'm not sure why that was different. Just to cover up this polished basalt in the middle. And I did the same thing here for some reason. And I'm going to work out a way to connect this up to the back of the engine. This was just for the basic pattern. It's 5 blocks long, and then it just comes out like that. It's kind of a shame. I think the new white wood would look a lot better here, but unfortunately my lightsaber data pack isn't on that version, or won't be on that version for a while, I imagine. Plus, some of the other things I use, like the replay mod, they always take a bit of time. So for now, I think this birch wood will do the job, and looks a bit better because it's a bit closer, a bit tighter on the edges. And then I've just replaced some of the blocks back here with some grey blocks. At the moment, I've got the blast furnaces in here. I really quite like these blocks. They look really good for machines. And then I've got a couple of iron bars just to extend it out past this. So it kind of sticks out, but it's almost in line. And I'm thinking I kind of want a gap here. So maybe I could use something like an iron trapdoor here, just to separate this front part from the engine and just make it have that little bit of a division. I added one more of these chiseled red sandstone here just to bring that shape out a little bit, and I've added a black stone button on the front, as well as I've started extending out the back here with the andesite stairs just to get the shape right. And I think actually the size difference is probably correct. The only problem here is these could do with being a little bit bigger. But in order to put these signs, I would have to actually go 2 more. So it would need to be like this size. And is that too big? Yeah, I think that might be a little bit too big. I actually do think that this is the correct size. I think I'll stick with this for now, and then we'll see at the end how it looks, and I might have to extend these up, but shouldn't be a problem because it's not connected to anything else. And this is another reason why I wanted Anakin's to be 1 block wide on the engines, because if Anakin's had been this size, can you imagine how big Sebulba's would have been? It's like triple the size, so we would have been talking about like this massive, massive engines for this. I did decide to extend this in the end. I do think it's a better scale, especially with the size of the engine behind it. At least now it sticks off properly. So I just extended it out another 2 and put some of the some of the signs on the side. And I also kind of extended this bit out, but I'm not sure how I feel about how it looks right now. I think it would be better if this was extended out a bit further, like this, and we fill in this gap. Yeah, I think that looks better already. So for the back at the moment, I've just got some basic blocks in. We've got the blast furnaces. I've got some observers sideways. I used a bit of the acacia stairs and some looms up here. And I've got a little anvil in here just for some divots in the side. And I might need to make some changes to that. But for now, it's definitely the right scale that I want. Made a little bit of a change here. Instead of the stairs, I went with the slabs. That way, it looks like these andesite stairs kind of wrap around it, which is kind of like the metal rings that hold all of the engine together, and it just gives a bit more depth in there. I just whacked down a crafter here just to see how that looks, and I'm thinking for the rings, we've got these all the way across. Maybe I should place them like this. Yeah, I think that would be better. Let's try that. Okay, yeah, so now it gives a bit of a division between the kind of mechanical parts and the rings. I added in a couple of the copper trapdoors here just for a bit more detail, a bit more mechanical looking. And now I'm kind of struggling with the back part of this because there's a lot of these little fins on it. I don't think it's going to be possible to do that. but it might be possible to give the impression of it. See, the basalt is a little bit dark, but it is doing the job. Now the question is, have I made this one way too big? Because now it's almost the same length as Anakin's one. I guess I could cut out a layer here. Yeah, I actually think that's a more reasonable size. Yeah, this is what I'm going to go with. So I've only got two at the back here with the polished basalt, the smooth stone slabs. I added some iron trapdoors on the top and the bottom. I need to do something about the back here. Maybe I could just put in a black concrete in there, just in the gap. All right, so I'm just starting to connect up the cables now and just put some of the electricity line in just to see what kind of size we're going to be working with. I think overall it is not that much bigger. It's about 2 blocks longer this way and one longer this way. So it is a little bit bigger than Anakin's engines in terms of the length. So that's about right. And that should work out nicely. I did have to break one of these to fit the electricity in, but that's fine as well. Now I've just curved this round a little bit. So now we're going to start working on adding in the cockpit. So I'm thinking of doing the railing on the side like this. It's a little bit too big with the signs, but I think it gives that double-sided rail look to it, and then just connecting it at the front with a grindstone. I'm not sure if I want to go with the full blocks here or if I want to go with the half slabs, because it does look a bit more flat than what I was building. And to be honest, this isn't great. It's all coming out a bit too tall, really. Yeah, it definitely looks better this way, but now I can't fit this forwards far enough. Right, I've made a few more changes, and I think this is looking a bit better. I might, in fact, just bring this up one more layer and just have to suck it up and make this 2 blocks tall. We're making a little bit of progress here, so I've kind of changed up the front end. So now I've got this pressure plate on here instead of the quartz slab, just to thin that out. I could probably remove these and it might look a little bit better. A little bit of an engine going on in here, just a few engine looking blocks. The anvil is my go-to for any kind of engine block thing. I changed these up to the stripped acacia log just because they have this kind of circle on the front, and I'm going to see about putting some things on and around this. And now the back end is where I'm kind of at, where this is a little bit thick, but again, it's only 2 blocks tall. It just feels like it's too thick, but I think we're starting to get there with the shape. I quite like the look of that. Putting a couple of candles on top, it looks a bit like some exhausts, so that works nicely. A few changes later, and the shape is coming along nicely. I've got the full block on the back here, so I can fit this lever on with the chain connected to a banner, and there's kind of like the back headrest that he can lean on, and then a little bit of a seat down in here. Some kind of consoles with a grindstone on top and some chains coming off either side, because he kind of has a steering bar. I connected those chains up with levers as well, and the only concern now is using too many chains and levers because then it all just starts to look the same. But I think for now, I also raised this block up by 1, and I placed a few of these underneath to cover up some of the stairs and things that I used. Now I just need to figure out a way to kind of enlarge this or make this a little bit better for the shape, and I'm thinking some trapdoors will probably do the job. So let's have a look at what ones we've got. You've either got the waxed copper or you've got the acacia, really are the only two options. I think that does work pretty well. Maybe we can have one of these mixed in. Yeah, you know what? The normal copper suits quite a bit better. The only other issue we have here is these are kind of all blended in together too well. I think these ones will be better. Just kind of looks like it has some marks on it. Now there is some of these kind of antenna sticking up on the back here, but I can't tell if it's part of his outfit or if it's part of the ship. I think we'll just put one on there just for the bit of detail. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with this design overall, and I replaced obviously the the signs with the chains here, which do look a bit better and thinner, and they don't block out this middle part as much. So I did just go around and replace a few of the blocks with the normal red sandstone rather than the smooth red sandstone, just to give a bit of texture in there, because obviously it is going to be battered up by the sand as it's going around at speeds. I've also extended out the second one. Have I done it the right size and shape? Yes. So the second cable is now connected up. So now I just need to replicate this on the other side, and this will be finished. I've added in the second engine, and these don't connect up particularly well. So I think what I'm going to do is remove those, and I might in fact cover it up with a different trapdoor. I actually think the copper looks better there, not the rusted version. There we go. That is Sebulba's Podracer now finished as well. And I think actually they're quite a good size comparison next to each other. His cockpit might be a little bit too big, but overall the sizes match up quite nicely. And his one was a little bit more complicated in terms of the design. There's a lot more intricate parts, and it's a bit bigger, so you can fit in a bit more. Some things didn't work out exactly as I would have liked them, but overall, I'm happy with the design. And I'm just having a look around to see if there's any kind of complicated blocks to get. There's a few anvils, and there is some waxed copper in there, which is a little bit more difficult to get a hold of. But in general, they're all pretty standard blocks. All, of course, the candles as well. But if you have the wax copper, then you'll also have candles, and they really don't need to be included. They're not central to the build. But mostly it's just stones and irons. You will need some red sandstone and a few different types of wood. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next vehicle build.